Hey, what's up guys? This is Brandon Washington with BWash Media, and today we are reviewing the Dji Mavic Pro from a filmmaker's perspective. So like I said, we are going to be reviewing the Dji Mavic Pro from a filmmaker's perspective. So what I mean by that is I'm going to be focusing on how well this can work in your production. So that could be, using it for your short films or even using it in your business to add that aerial aspect to your final video. So those are going to be some of the things that I'm going to talk about in this review. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I wanted to see about with the Dji Mavic Pro was how quickly it could set up and start flying. Now, with something this small, the thing that they spoke about highly, and by them I mean DJI, was that you could be up in the air and flying in just a matter of minutes. Now, with my past DJI Phantom models, it easily took anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes to get my drone up and in the air. And that was due to connectivity, getting it out of the bag, putting the propellers on, and getting the drone up. And so with the Dji Mavic Pro, I wanted to see if they really were able to cut down on that time. So let's give it a shot. To know exactly what our time looks like, I have an iPhone right here that I'm going to be using just as a stopwatch. And then I have my personal phone right here that I'm going to be using to actually be able to see what the Dji Mavic sees. So I'm going to get ready to hit the timer and we're going to see how quickly it takes me to get this guy set up. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, start. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually turn on the controller. All right, got that guy going up. So it took a little bit, but I got it up. And then I'm going to take my iPhone here and I'm going to go ahead and launch the DJI Go app, which is the app that you actually have to download to fly your DJI drone. Now, the cool thing is because I have other drones, I didn't have to download a different app. They use the same app for everything, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and unfollow my DJI Mavic here. All right, now I am already starting to get visual from the DJI Mavic. Oh, that's what's the deal. I forgot to take this clip off. There we go. And stop. All right, so my DJI Mavic is ready to fly. We're currently sitting at 1 minute and 19 seconds. So it took me 1 minute and 19 seconds to get my DJI Mavic up and ready to fly, and you can see that the actual blades are already spinning. And what's really neat about this is I've never had a drone that I was able to get up and flying in such a short amount of time. And so, the drone is ready. It has GPS already going, and I could take off from right here. Why is this so important, or why is it so good to have a drone that you can actually get up and flying in less than 2 minutes? Well, a lot of times you're going to be getting ready to fly your drone, and what's going to happen is you are actually going to need to get that shot immediately. And if you're having to wait for your drone to warm up or to find GPS, then there's a high chance that you could miss that shot. The other thing is sometimes as a drone pilot, you'll find out that you may only have a small window to get that shot before someone probably kicks you off of the property that you're trying to fly the drone at, just because people don't understand drones yet. And so you're gonna want a drone that you can throw up in the air really quickly, get that shot, get the drone back down, and be out of there before anyone else even knows you were around. So now that we have the drone up in the air, the next thing I wanted to go through was some of the intelligent flight modes that the DJI Mavic can perform. As anyone knows who has tried to fly drones, when you first get it up in the air, it's probably the scariest point, because trying to get your shot as well as make sure that your drone is safe sometimes can be a scary process. And so with these intelligent flight modes, this should make the drone flying a lot easier, and so you can focus on getting your shot, which, as we all know as filmmakers, is the most important thing. You focus on the shot. So one of the coolest things about the Dji Mavic is its intelligent flight mode. And so what I want to do right now is actually take you through some of those intelligent flight modes. So the Dji Mavic actually has 11 different flight modes. And so one thing to keep in mind is that if you do put your Dji Mavic in beginner mode, you will not be able to do all of these flight modes. But it has a couple like gesture, which allows you to actually just do a gesture and take pictures like selfies. But the ones that we're really gonna spend some time on looking at is active track, because that is one that as a filmmaker would be very, very helpful. So with active track, you're actually able to draw a box around your subject and the Mavic will follow that subject on its own, keeping it in the middle of the frame. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this drone in active track mode now so you can see what this looks like. So in order to put your device in active track, you have to line up your subject and then you're gonna draw a box around that subject or tap on them. Now once it thinks it knows who is tracking, you just tap go, and now it actually starts tracking that individual. And so right now I'm actually running and I have the Dji Mavic following me. It's following me all on its own. So now I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna turn and we'll see if the Dji Mavic can keep up, and it does. The camera automatically adjusts, and now I'm gonna take off running again and we'll see if the Dji can keep up. I come to a stop. So what I like about this is the Dji Mavic does keep a safe distance overhead. It sounds like it's getting pretty close, but it actually doesn't. And so now the Dji Mavic is following me back to the camera. So that is active track. Now there's one more thing I want to touch on before we move on from these flight modes, and that is the sensors. Now the sensors on the Dji Mavic are by far the best I've ever seen on a drone. This sensor literally will not allow you to run into someone or something. Now, can this be put to the test? I'm sure it can be, but from my personal experience with the drone, it is doing a phenomenal job. And just to show you what I mean by that, let's give it a test. So I'm gonna start recording on my drone right now. And what happens is when the sensors on the front of the Dji Mavic pick up that there's someone in front, you start getting notifications right here on your iPhone or your Android phone, whatever you're flying on, and it starts beeping and vibrating. Now the closer you bring the drone to someone, the more it's actually gonna start vibrating. Now here's the crazy part. I have my drone set on full throttle to go forward, and the drone is not moving any further forward. So we can see right now that the drone will not move. It will not crash into me because it knows that I'm in front. And again, my finger is full throttle telling the drone to move forward. Now I'm gonna have it back off and you'll see that it can fly no problem. If I turn it, it now takes off right off behind me. So the Dji Mavic is by far one of the best drones I've ever seen as far as how the sensor works, because legitimately I could not get this drone to run into me. And so that makes me feel much comfortable when it comes to if I were to accidentally fly my drone into some type of obstacle. The obstacle avoidance on this machine is top notch. So now that we know how we can use the intelligent flight modes to actually fly the drone, well, how well does the battery perform? Well, that's something that's always been up for interpretation. DJI says that you can get, a little over 20 minutes on a single battery. And from my personal experience, you actually are gonna get right at 20, maybe a little less. This is always up based on the situation. So if you're flying in a more windy day and you're flying against the wind, well, obviously you're gonna run through your battery a little bit faster. Vice versa, if you're actually flying with the wind, you can tend to get a little bit more than 20 minutes. So definitely take this as a grain of salt as far as how much flight time you really will get. I will say, however, if you buy a drone, whether it's a Mavic or not, you definitely should purchase extra batteries, because sometimes when you get the drone up in the air and you start planning and figuring out what your shot's gonna look like, you actually start to find out that you're running out of battery. And so what you wanna make sure you do is have a full battery, fully charged, for when you actually have your shot planned out. You know exactly what you're gonna be getting, and that way you can have that full battery to get the shot. Now, the DJI Mavic is a great drone, and I will say that it is by far my favorite drone that I've ever flown or operated or even gotten a chance to get close to. But with that being said, is the DJI Mavic for everyone? And in my personal opinion, the answer is no, but it could be. So when I say no, I mean not everyone is a drone flyer. Not everyone has a reason to use a drone for their production. In all honesty, some productions actually don't need drone and don't require it. And so by adding a drone to your production, you're actually just adding more hassle, more work, and realistically, you're adding in another legal element that you probably haven't thought about. What I mean by that is, in order to hire someone, or in order to be hired by someone to fly a drone, that drone operator has to have a Part 107 license. Now, if you're not familiar with the Part 107 license and you would like to know more, definitely leave a comment down below. I can make a full video on that, but that's something that you should definitely look into if you are thinking about, you know, selling your services as a drone pilot. Now, if you're just a hobbyist, or if you're just someone who wants a drone just to fly it for fun, or you want to fly it, you know, for your own personal short films, and you have no plans on making monetary value for that, then this is an awesome drone for you to get. You know, the fact that it is so small and the fact that it's so compact makes it a great choice when it comes to choosing your drone. The biggest downfall I find with this drone is just how hard it is to get it. If you go on DJI's website right now, they're quoting anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks before you'll have your drone in hand, which in my opinion is just, it's just really bad, you know, business. You want to be able to get your products a lot sooner than what they're currently saying you're going to be able to get it in. So that's probably my only downside to purchasing the DJI Mavic, is that you're going to have to wait a long time. But other than that, it is a phenomenal drone. I mean, if I had to rate this thing 1 out of 10, I would definitely give it a strong 9.5. And really that 0.5 is just because of how long you have to wait to get it. But I promise you, if you do decide that the DJI Mavic is for you and that you want to start using it for your productions, then I will say it will be more than worth the wait. I mean, it feels like I ordered it yesterday, even though before I got it, it felt like I had ordered it 6 months ago. But realistically, I'm loving my DJI Mavic so far, and you can definitely expect more videos on the DJI Mavic as I get more comfortable with it. So thanks again, guys, for watching this video. If you guys have any questions about the DJI Mavic or drone flying in general, please be sure to leave a comment down below so I can answer those in future videos. Also, if you liked this video or you thought it was informative, please be sure to hit that like button, because it really does help the channel. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. If you're a gearhead like me and you love looking at filmmaking and photography gear, this is the perfect channel for you. So other than that, again, this was Brandon Washington with BWatch Media, and I'll catch you in the next one.